This is Zen Talon 10, all one word. The last two are numbers. He is a Horong main, but I wanted to let him introduce himself. So we're going to go through the first couple questions. These are mostly pertaining to who me and him are as Tekken players, and just quickly to go through what we're currently doing. Let me just pull up the document. I think I got it lying around here somewhere. There we go. Okay, so who is your main character, if you don't mind sharing?
I play Huarang.
All right, then. And your favorite secondary, if you have one.
Now that's tough because I am a dedicated Huarang specialist, so
Okay.
I predominantly play him like 99% of the time.
Okay.
But if I had to pick like a secondary by
Horong is
default,
banned. Who you picking?
it would probably be Devil Jin.
Okay, Devil Jin. That's understandable. They play pretty similarly in the terms. Well, actually, no. I was about. I'm thinking of Lee. I'm thinking of Cat. I don't know why I'm thinking that. But okay, Devil Jin. Okay. When was the last time you played Devil Jin? If you don't mind me asking, did you play him in 8 at all?
Not into any capacity, no. I think
Okay.
I played like casuals with my friends, but that was with like zero practice.
Okay.
But I did have him at Tekken God Prime and Tekken 7. He's
There you go. That's what I was.
fundamentally the
Yeah.
same, but you know.
That's what I was looking for because I asked about 8 because I'm like, no, you played him back in 7 when you were like, fuck, I can't play Horong. Who am I playing? Let me play the guy with the up forward 4. And then they got nerfed and you said, fuck. Okay, no more. Back to Horong.
Yeah.
So fuck that shit. All right, simple enough. What was your first Tekken in your life that you ever played? Not played, not necessarily owned.
Okay, yeah. First that I played was definitely Tekken 3.
Tekken 3.
Yeah, because I'm a '90s kid, so I like grew up. Well, I spent my toddler years in the '90s, so I guess like Tekken 3 was like relatively new, and I wasn't really sure like what I was playing, but I know that I liked the guy who kicked a bunch.
Yeah.
So that's why I started playing on Tekken 3 back in like it was like had to be like '99, maybe 2000, something
Well,
like that.
Horong. So, was that the arcade version or like the home version?
It was the home version for PlayStation 1.
Okay. Do you think you saw like an advertisement? Because if people don't remember, Horong was on the Enbu, which was, if you're like me as a kid walking by in the arcade, I knew about Tekken 3 because of all the magazines and like the ads, because the gimmick was with PlayStation, oh, you get to play all the coolest arcade games at home. So I had Tekken 1 because my dad loved the arcade. We'd go, we're a very 90s pilled family. We'd go to the mall all the time so he could walk around to like Sears. And when we were there, he would drop us off at the arcade, so he knew all the games. So Tekken, but Horong was on the Enbu. So if you saw a Tekken 3 advertisement, you saw Horong jumping around, kicking the shit out of people, I can completely understand. It was Jin, Horong, and Eddie were the 3 biggest salesmen for Tekken 3. Those 3 characters.
Yeah. I think that is definitely part of it. And I always remember I don't know if you recall, but like in Tekken 3, they have that like intro where he's doing like the Taekwondo moves.
That's the Embu. That's the Embu.
Yeah.
EMBU.
Yeah.
It's like what they attract at the arcade. He would be doing that dance to make people go, "What the hell game is this?"
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I guess that is what did it for me. I was like, man, this looks fucking sick. Dude.
And
He looks awesome.
He's in it doing his stances. I was a jiu-jitsu kid, so in jiu-jitsu you just do stances and then like sparring and stretching. But Taekwondo is all about the stances too. Like they do all that dance and stuff. Yeah, Brian, that was his first Tekken, but Brian wasn't in a lot of the Brian wasn't in the gameplay advertisements because Brian was kind of stiff looking because he was a kickboxer. That's before he had a lot of his explosive moves. But Horong was like the karate guy, but he just looked so... Him and Jin were like the cool... Like everybody loved him because Jin was on the cover and Horong was in the art. And people were like, what the fuck? What is this? What are they doing in Tekken? This looks cool. Lei Wulong was... Anyway. The third question. What Tekken have you put the most time into?
Oh, well, that was
Across
easy.
the
It's
series.
Definitely Tekken 7. For
7,
sure.
okay.
Definitely
7 was your
Tekken
most...
7.
Really, 7 was your most hours by far.
Yes,
Okay.
because anything before since Tekken 3, I dabbled with all the Tekkens. I even went back to try Tekken 1 and 2. A little bit dated for me, but I played them all like very casually. But Tekken 7 was the first Tekken that I tried to play really competitively.
Okay.
And I believe when Tekken 7, like when I stopped playing it, when I like finally deleted it, I think I had roughly about 6,000 to 7,000 hours on it.
6,000.
Around.
So you're playing a lot on. You're playing like more than PlayStation because even with, I think to this day I've got 2K for. Hold on, let me check my. I just want to see what my Steam library says for 7. Let me do hours played, but they don't have to all be installed. I had 1,900 hours. So I had 1,900. So you had 6,000 on PlayStation?
Yes.
Oh, you're playing. Oh, so you're playing This is why we ask these questions. You're playing magnitudes more Tekken, and that's all Horong basically.
Yes, predominantly yes, definitely.
Okay, this is why we ask these questions. If anybody ever wants to know how you got so good with the character, it's just time, effort, and dedication. So that's why you're so comfortable playing them, and you get to that level. So, but this is why we ask. So Tekken 7 was the most by far. And Horong mostly, so you put over 6K is crazy. That's pretty up there. So for the record, for me, I would say it's a close tie between Tekken 7 and Tekken Tag 1 because Tekken Tag 1 I remember was like my second introduction to the series because I played when I was a little kid. I was born in '92. My dad had the PlayStation 1 at home. My dad, that was the first console I remember just because of how many we had like Super Nintendo and stuff when I was a little kid. But my dad got the PlayStation because he loved the arcade games. He loved 2 arcade games and wanted them at home. He wanted Time Crisis because they had the light gun. He wanted Time Crisis because he thought it was the coolest thing ever. And he wanted Tekken because he hated something about Tekken 2 and he wanted it at home. So he got like long story short, he learned how to do fucking king chain throws and whip my ass. And it was funny, but that's how I remember. Like one day he came home. I don't even want to tell the story. I can't remember it correctly. It sounds like it's out of a movie. I feel like I'm lying when I tell it. But he learned King's like chain throw, like to introduce Tekken to me, and then the first thing he did was fucking RDC my ass or something. It was fucking crazy. I was like, "What the fuck is that, Dad?"
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, that's kind of how I got into it too. My father also played King, and he would do all the grabs and the fucking ollie kick, which was basically like the cheapest thing ever when I was growing up. I was like, bro, what is this? You know how they stay staggered if you get hit by a certain amount.
Yes, King down forward 1 back in the old game was the most on block. It was like plus 37. Like I say that and you go, what? It's like if you block this, I have a free combo. Huh?
Yeah, it was fucked up.
Say what? That game was designed to steal your coins. This is why we asked though. So my dad used to play King and Anna, and he used to do Anna because he just used to use down forward 1-2 all day, and I couldn't beat it. And then he loved staring at her win animation. He thought it was the funniest shit ever.
Yeah,
anyway, maybe just like polygonal tits. That's why he played Tomb Raider when I wasn't around. But anywho, so your most played is 7. I would say for me it was a tie between Tekken 7 and Tekken Tag 1. I played 7 the most in my adulthood, and Tag 1 was right when the PlayStation 2 came out. I really wanted a Dreamcast, I remember, around that time, because I wanted the Dreamcast because my mom used to take me to a flea market, and at the flea market, I'm a Cape Verdean, so in Boston, there's like a big Cape Verdean contingent. I'm half Cape Verdean, so my family's half straight out of Africa. So my mom used to take us to this flea market, and for those of you who don't know, the Dreamcast was infamous for being like one of the first consoles that was like on optical disc, but there was no DRM, so you could just print out any fucking game you wanted. Anybody could do this. You could go and buy like a stack of CDs at Staples and burn every fucking game they ever released on that console from the internet. So I would go to this flea market and they would have the entire library for like $2 a game. So I was like, Dad, I need this Dreamcast. I need this Dreamcast. It's so sick. I want to play Phantasy Star. And he was like, okay. But he went to the store and he goes in the electronics boutique and he sees, oh, hey, where's Tekken for Dreamcast? And they go, Tekken isn't on Dreamcast. He goes, okay, well, I'm not getting the Dreamcast then. Let me get that little shit a PlayStation. So long story short, this leads to my dad just being a PlayStation guy. Mm-hmm. He goes and gets the PlayStation 2 when it comes out just because Tekken's on it and Madden's on it. That's it.
Gotcha.
Just those 2 games. Madden 2001 with Marshall Faulk from the Los Angeles Rams. The LA Rams now used to be St. Louis. And then Tekken Tag 2. Tekken Tag 1 with Kazuya on the cover and the coolest graphics ever. That was my like big game. I played that game so much. I sucked at it. I didn't play competitively. I tried to get my friends to play all the time, but they like Smash. But Tekken Tag 1 I definitely played probably more hours than 7. So the big question now, what is your favorite Tekken? Like, which Tekken do you consider of the whole series to be the best it ever got?
Well, I don't think I have a... This is one of always, I guess, a tough question.
It is.
But when I really, really think about it, I would have to say the one that, like, solidified the game as, like, something that I really enjoyed was definitely Tekken 5. and I just mean like the PS2 version of Tekken 5, so not DR.
So 5.0.
Yeah, just 5.0.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I really liked the customization options in that version, so I thought that was like super sick. I really liked the design of the characters.
Let me pull that out because I know exactly what you're talking about. Let me show you what I mean. I think I have a couple of pictures of the advertisements for 5. I don't know if it was DR, but let me pull it out here. I have a couple of pictures of exactly what you're talking about. If I can just find them. I think they're in here. Yeah, I got a bunch of, like, promo art, and I think a good chunk of it is from Tekken 5. Was it right here? I'm sorry, go ahead. Can't see.
I was just gonna add just that, like, and of course the sparking intro for Tekken 5 is just notoriously godlike.
It's the best it ever got. Yes, absolutely.
It was so sick, dude.
Okay, I found it. I found the art, so I'll put this up there. Yeah, see? I don't know if you can see it, but there's promo art for, like, the customization when you're in, like, the Ghost Battle for Tekken 5. I maintain the Ghost Battle, because for whatever reason, if anybody hasn't gone back and replayed Tekken 5, you're going to want to do that, because the AI, even though it was cheap, it was better than, like, the new AI they have. I don't know where that big step back came about, but if you go back and play Tekken 5 DR and Tekken 6 and play the Ghost Battle mode, they're more fun than Tekken's been since. Like, 7's Ghost Battle is nothing compared to that. And 8 is even worse.
8 is pretty bad, but
it's horrific.
Yeah. I also liked okay, so like there's so much stuff I liked about Tekken 5. I don't know if you recall, but like on the console version they had that, like, before you would start, you could do a little mini game where you're like playing in like space, like some like Star Fox type.
That's
shit.
Old. Yeah, that's old, but that was in the ancient. Oh, you said you started with Tekken 3, huh?
Yes.
In Tekken 1 and 2, you play a game of Galaxian at the start of Namco was infamous for this. They did that at the start of Ridge Racer. Back in the original Ridge Racer, to unlock all the cars, when the game is loading at the start, it has you play a game that's a space game, and if you shoot all the ships, you get all the cars.
That's sick, dude.
They have that at the start of one of my favorite games of all time, which is Ridge Racer 1. That was on the PlayStation. I could show you that, but that's, yeah, they did that in Tekken 5, I remember. I didn't have Tekken 5 on console. I had 4. I did not have 5 on console. I played that, I think at the time I really was into Soul Calibur 2. That was Soul Calibur 2 era, so I didn't even get Tekken 5.
It was definitely really cool, and then of course I think Devil Within mode was really sick. I thought that was like super sick because you know they had like Tekken Force mode before, but this was like the first one I felt like it was like it was just sick seeing the Tekken characters in a different environment, and you could like turn into like Devil Jin temporarily. I thought it was like the sickest thing ever.
Well, 4 was like a conceptual thing, and then 5 was like, okay, we're gonna make this a video game again. And even though 5's balance was off, the features and like all the stuff they gave you to play was amazing. So you're correct about that.
Yeah, stages were incredible. Like the what is it, Moonlight Wilderness, whatever that stage was.
Yeah, all the art direction. So this follows up with my response to the question myself, which is I would say my favorite Tekken of all time is 5DR, but that's because it built off the foundation that 5 started. And Tekken 5 DR was like a perfect storm because in America, especially in Boston, that game came to us first with an arcade cabinet. So if you knew a place that had the arcade cabinet, in Boston there was one arcade cabinet that was infamous for being, there was lines out the door for this DR cabinet because they got it like 6 months before everybody else did. So people would go there just to play DR because everybody hated 5. They said this game's a joke. It's insanely busted, which it was. Like go play Jin in that game. And half of the things I tell you, half the roster, you want to say Tekken 8's broken. Oh my god, go back and play 5.0. Insanely busted. That's like a time capsule game. Like if you want to see the most busted fighting game balance you've ever seen in your life, it's like Tekken 4 but easier, which is saying something. Because 4 was like, oh, you got these infinites where you could juggle somebody the entire stage with Steve doing 2 buttons or Brian. And then in 5 that just became, oh, you can do that but in like 7 hits.
Yeah.
Just kill somebody, just murder somebody, infinite. But my point being, 5DR, the music, the story was good, the roster was perfect. There were no duds on the roster, maybe like 2. Like maybe you could say like I guess some characters that didn't come back like Ganryu, maybe Bruce, some of them that didn't last, but 5DR is my favorite. And I played most of it on the PSP, believe it or not, because I emulated the shit out of that thing. And I would play emulator games, and I would play the cool modern stuff that I got the ISOs for to like burn onto the disc. So 5DR was in 6 were amazing. They are still to this day modding the copy of Tekken 6 on PSP to be. They basically fully made Tekken 7 and Tekken 8 on an emulated version of the game. That's how infamous that game is for the emulation community.
Dang, I didn't know that.
You can go right now, and somebody made a mod where they gave Heihachi all of Akuma's moves. So Akuma is literally doing, like, Raging Demon after Twin Pistons and shit. It's... Jesus. I have to get that footage and have it as a commercial because it's hilarious. It's so crazy, the things they've done with that game. So, my answer to the question was Tekken 5 DR. But Tekken 5, I think, if you ask real Tekken fans and they say Tekken 5, usually you'll know if they're the real deal. Because they'll usually say something like, well, Tag 1, Tekken 3... If they're a real OG, they'll say, like, Tekken 2 because the music was incredible. Yeah. And then everybody says Tekken 5. Rightfully so. I've never heard somebody say Tekken 6. As soon as Elisa showed up, fuck out of here.
Lars and shit.
6 was the... Yeah. Lars and Elisa were the harbinger... We could have a whole nother video about how Lars and Elisa are actually the harbingers of doom for Tekken. It wasn't Bob, wasn't Miguel, wasn't Raven... It was Lars and Elisa, the harbingers of doom for Tekken. That's when the story went off the rails. That's where they doubled down on the Mishima bullshit. That's where everybody said, oh my god, we love this anime lightning screw asshole. And then they said, really? We're going to put him in Naruto. Watch this, guys. And now here we are with them literally doing DBZ fights to start the story. Anywho, next question, and we'll try to move a little quicker. I know we're having fun, but I want to get you out of here. We've been going about 20 minutes now.
Gotcha.
On a weekly basis, how much Tekken do you play online and offline, if applicable? Locals, tournament, majors, hangouts.
Okay, so weekly, honestly, I haven't been playing Tekken 8 as much.
On average, you don't have to be too accurate. We're just looking for a ballpark.
Maybe.
Lately, neither have I.
Like, if I had to give you an average, maybe like 5 hours a week.
Okay, 5. All right, then.
Yeah.
And nothing offline, really? Just kind of playing it at home, chilling?
Yeah, so nothing offline right now.
Okay.
Just on for Tekken 8.
Okay, me, myself, I'm playing about, I'm going to say right around, I'm right above you, but around the same. At the start of the game, I was playing at least 10 hours a week. Now I'm down to like 7, 8. I'm probably on average, I'm down to like 4 or 5 right now online. Yeah. However, I do make sure I play at least 2 hours offline because offline is much, much more fun. And I go to I'm very blessed because I live in Boston, so we have a good offline scene. I want to get back to it, but I was having a bad attitude with Tekken, so I don't want to bring that to the offline. I don't want to be a dickhead. So I don't really like 8 that much. I'm trying to wait for Season 2, but that's beyond what I'm trying to say right now. We'll get to that question later. My point being is that I still get at least 2 hours of offline a week, which I think is why I still like the game. Because when you're playing people who are next to you and you don't have to just play against some Jun playing Wi-Fi using shithead or somebody who like is just banging their head off the fight stick and like you can sit next to the person, you can hear them press the buttons and you can see what kind of mix-ups they like to use, and I don't have to worry about lag and I don't have to worry about one and dones and I don't have to worry about all that bullshit. The game is 10 times more fun. Like offline fighting games, I think even Eris would say, oh yeah, Tekken's fun, you just got to play offline. I think he would deal with Victor and all the bullshit we would have to deal with if it wasn't online only. But the fact that that stuff happens online is fucking infuriating. So I don't blame anybody for dropping this game at all. So anybody who says they're taking a break, I go, completely understand, man. Completely understand. But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so that's a good average. So we're both around the same. We're playing pretty casually, both adults trying to, live our lives, and video games ain't exactly the big priority. Let's see here. With that, in 2025 is the big question now. What criteria should we judge fighting games on? In other words, what makes a fighting game good? Quotes. I'm going to give my answer, and then I'm going to let you retort.
Okay.
My answer is short, to put as shortly as I can. I think the things that I think are important go as follows. I'm going to try to keep it to less than 7, so I think I have 6. Gameplay, the depth, and the replayability. That's exactly what it sounds like. Just the ability to pick the game up and like have fun with it day to day. Is there depth there? Because you could go play a shitty basic fighting game like what's a good example? DNF Duel. There's not a lot of depth in that game. Once you have 3 or 4 B&Bs and you know how all the characters work, you're just mashing back and forth. So I think depth and replayability is number 1. Number 2, netcode. We live in a digital age. People got lives to live. People were inside during COVID. got to have good netcode. So netcode's up there. That's number 2 for me. Simple as that. And then I would also say with netcode, like stability, like make the netcode the opposite of what we have now. Number 3, I would say balance. I would say Tekken 8 is actually more balanced than a lot of people give it credit for. I just think it's too top-heavy, but that's a system thing. But I would say balance is actually really, really important because if the game's just super top-heavy and you don't feel like you're rewarded for exploring the roster, then it's really hard to sell you DLC characters, which makes balance more important than ever. So, like, the new characters have to be good enough that they're worth playing, but not so busted that they make everybody laugh at the devs. Like, you see how quickly they patched Clive because they didn't want everybody making fun of him, and they didn't want the tournaments to just look awful. So I would say balance. A lot of people, some people say, "Oh, balance doesn't matter. Balance doesn't matter." No, it matters very much, especially these days with streaming culture. So I'd put that number 3. Number 4, and this used to be number 1 for me, but these days games are kind of more of a business, so you can't just look pretty. You kind of have to be good. But I would say number 4 is audio visual design, so like graphics, OST, exactly what it sounds like. Does it look fun to play? Does it sound fun to play? And then 5 was the roster, the characters and the stages. Do they look cool? Do I want to play these characters? Like, who do you remember from like a shitty fighting game like I don't know, Power Rangers or whatever. And then finally, seasons. I think a game has to be updated because we live in a modern age. So if you're just going to put a game out and leave it there, it better be the best game ever. And fighting games need updates because otherwise, nobody is making a fighting game with no guest characters and no further updates or balance updates. That's just not gonna. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna be feasible. Okay, so what would be? Those were my 6 total, but you can list in however many you want.
Well, I mean, I really agree with a lot of the stuff you were just saying. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head with a lot of the with your assessment, and I could only really just co-sign that and just say, like, cool. For me,
anything you want to add? Was there anything you wanted to add to those 5? So my 5 were gameplay, netcode, balance, audio visual design, the roster, and the seasonal support. Those are my 6.
I guess this would be kind of like they already have this in Tekken, but I really do think crossplay is mandatory.
That's a good one. I intentionally left that one out because I said it is important, but it's not a deal breaker. Do you know what I mean? Like, if a game's really good, I don't think a lack of crossplay is going to keep people from playing it. But,
that makes sense.
But I can definitely accept the argument for or against. I just didn't want to put 10 different criteria. I just wanted the most important ones. But I would definitely... I could roll that in with netcode. Like, you should have crossplay because all the big games have crossplay, right?
Yeah,
like
and I think
Tekken
for
has
me... I think for me, it means more because I come from just playing PlayStation.
Correct.
And I know how...
Sorry, go ahead.
And I know how segregated the community was online when it came to Tekken 7. Just seeing that difference in the community with everybody being able to play together, is always nice. Like, I just, getting, like you said, with a digital age, the better the netcode gets, the easier it is for us to access other players. Like, just imagine if we could play good games with Korea, good games with Japan. Like, the more we are able to connect with other players, the better it is. So that's why crossplay, I think, is such a good thing for me because it just enables, a step in direction towards that community online.
Absolutely. Well, I wholeheartedly agree, but also I would go further and say that Sony is really like the last hurdle for there being more crossplay because Xbox kind of capitulated and Nintendo is obviously in their own world. But the way the PC market and all these consoles are coming out now with like Steam Decks and all these little handheld PCs and the PC market being more accessible than ever, I think crossplay is more important than ever. So you're right. I would say that's a good criteria. So with those criteria established, and then we could talk at length about this, but we're going to try to keep it to just what the decision is. Is Tekken 8 good with those criteria we just mentioned in mind? If you would rate it from 0 to 5 stars, what would you give it? My answer was a 3.
Okay. If I had to rate Tekken 8, I would probably say for me it feels... I guess it off the top of my head, I would say a 4. I was like a 4 for me.
Okay, so B. So it does feel good.
Yeah, I would say Tekken 8 feels good. I think that it could obviously. I say 4 just because I feel like it could be better. And like you said, we can talk about it at length. But if you just want my answer off the top of my head, 4.
All right, well, I wrote down my reasoning for, and I kept it as brief as I could. This is less than a paragraph. I said it was mid. I said it was 3-star grade at best. For the major reason was any good qualities it has are kind of squashed beneath a whole pile of bullshit. And and you could really it has a lot of good qualities. And I say this as somebody who raged about the game, played it for a couple hundred hours, flirted with the idea of dropping it, really didn't like what I was doing, but then I really tried to force myself to explore the gameplay and be more open-minded. And as I did that, I saw a lot of good, but then I saw a lot of good that was literally drowning in like a bunch of bullshit. Now, the bullshit, for the most part, doesn't have to do with the actual gameplay. That's the main issue. The gameplay itself is better than a lot of people like to say. Like Reddit and people like that, it's not as bad as a lot of Redditors say. However, there is a lot of completely valid, very, very big bullshit things, like how some stages are like way worse. Remember how much everybody hated Forgotten Realm in Tekken 7? There's nothing but Forgotten Realm now. Half the stages are Forgotten Realm. Yeah, and that's not fun. It's not just the fact that, oh, I got to bust through this wall. It's I could bust through multiple walls in one combo to get put in a 50-50 situation where the motherfucker has heat. Yeah, what is fun about that? What is fun about going through 2 wall explosions like we're playing Strive? But this is my point. So the pile of bullshit, as briefly as I can put it, because I'm trying to keep this to a pretty good pace. Poor netcode. The monetization is insanely bad. They lied to everybody. That's obvious. The Tekken coins, all that shit. There is no need for it. That is pure greed. And another thing that's really stupid about the monetization, nobody talks about this. They just had a failed mobile game. During Tekken 7, they released a game called Tekken Mobile. It came out, it sucked, and it went away in the course of like 6 months. And nobody likes to point to that to say they learned firsthand how badly Tekken translates to a free-to-play bullshit monetization model. So they got that, and they saw it in firsthand. Firsthand, they got evidence of maybe the fighting game and the mobile monetization model is bad, and then they put the game out without it, waited 2 months for all the reviews to be done, and then dropped that bomb on us. So that is that is a rug pull. That is insanely bad. That is not just bad. That should have ruined all trust anybody ever had with this team at all. But then that's a lot of the annoyance I have with the FGC media is a lot of people will just go, I love Sajam, but then he'll go, well, you guys don't even understand how tough development is, really. And I'm just like, okay, so don't make it FOMO. You can put cosmetics in the game without making them for a limited time only. Why is that part of the process? Why is the cosmetic market tied to a modern bullshit monetization? So that is a big mark against the game, I think. I think if the game had good monetization, it would be a huge thing. If we could say, oh yeah, they have like a $5 cosmetic pack and you just get all the cosmetics if you just pay an extra $5. Everybody would be so much happier. But no, it's a battle pass. There's old assets they're flipping. Anyway, Season 1 roster, I would say the first season pass is a joke. Eddie and Lydia alone is like, what the fuck? And then Clive came out. Heihachi, I could at least say, okay, he's cool, he looks good, he plays good. Yeah. Lydia and Heihachi? Lydia should have been base roster. We paid for her twice. Everybody's talked about that.
100%, yeah.
Eddie is like, what? Like, literally, it feels like they said, oh, we couldn't get his animations done in time, so we just made him Season 1 DLC. And then the thing that's a joke about that is the story mode is god-fucking awful. God-fucking awful. The worst thing I've ever seen put in Tekken. The story they put in for free where they advertised it was awful. The balance, the lack of single player. There's a dozen valid nitpicks. I think the main thing about the game that keeps it from failing completely to me is that the gameplay is so deep and still very, very good. I can't deny that. It's still extremely good. It's still Tekken. So, I think it's teetering for me because I used to think this game was like a 1-star or a 2-star because I hated Heat that much. But then when I played it and I said, okay, this game wants you to make more decisions. It wants you to play a little more rock, paper, scissors. Not rock, paper, scissors like Virtua Fighter, but it wants you to get to a checkmate quicker. It feels like it wants you to push your opponent with an all-in situation and get to that with the rage arts and the heat bursts and the blah, blah, blah. But I said, okay, I can groove with that a little bit. I'm getting used to it. But it's just hidden beneath... Like, there's no team battle. Why is there no team battle?
Yeah, that's true.
Why is there no Tekken Force? there's a bunch of valid things where it's like there's such a lack of stuff and a bunch of other things. But that's not what I came to really get to the questions about. We're trying to get to season 2 and like positive or at least proactive thinking. So we're getting there. Question number 8. This is the fun stuff. This is the stuff. So for those that are listening and just hanging out with us in the chat, first off, shout outs to you. Cheers to you guys. I'm drinking some boom sauce. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. It's Tekken Tuesday, and Street Fighter 6. The My Patch comes out tomorrow. So thanks for joining us. I'm hanging out with Zen Talon 10. He's over there on Twitch. He plays a lot of Horong. He does great seminar streams. I think if you check his VODs, he has a great stream where he shows how Brian is easier to deal with than people say. I was enjoying that. And he's got a lot of other content that he does sporadically, so I heavily recommend going to follow his channel if you haven't already.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. So this is the halfway point, though. So now comes the more fun questions, or the more proactive questions for Season 2. So, first off, who are 2 characters you want to see in Season 2 most? I want 2 characters you would like to see in the Season 2 character pass.
Well, right off the top, I would probably say Lei. And
Okay.
I like Lei. He's just iconic. I think who doesn't like Jackie Chan? I just watched Rumble in the Bronx.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
I'm
movie was
a
awesome.
police story kind of guy.
Yeah. So I always like Jackie Chan. So Lei's just really iconic. I hate fighting Lei, but he's so cool that I let that slide.
Did you ever play his game back on PlayStation 1, Jackie Chan Stuntmaster?
No, I have not.
Oh, you got to emulate that and play that immediately.
Okay.
I will watch you stream it. We'll talk about that later. For now, go ahead. So Lei Wulong is your first choice. Jackie Chan's awesome. That's undisputed.
Okay, and then number 2, I probably would like to see somebody who wasn't in Tekken 7. So I'm thinking like Bruce, like just because I don't want like Fakaram back, don't want Josie back. I think all the Tekken 7 newcomers were like super stiff. And
I would agree except for 2 of them. I would agree except for Lucky Chloe, and I actually think Katarina was very good, but that's because I value like fashion design, and she was actually styling like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think I would like to see Bruce come back just because
Okay.
I think he's a cool character.
You don't think Bruce a little flat, like with the move list? I like Bruce,
well-
but you go back and play him, and it's like I see why they said we got to move on from this guy. He's a little boring.
I can't really speak on his move list too much. I just liked his design. Like his
I'm
aesthetically.
your worst nightmare.
Yeah, so I was like, that's pretty cool. Like I'm more of like a cool little bit of an edgy guy, so that was kind of sick.
I miss Muay Thai. I miss Muay Thai in Tekken, and Fakam Ram wasn't it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like.
Yeah.
So I'll pick it. Yeah.
Well, that's a good couple picks. So you say Lei Wulong number 1, just because even though you don't like fighting him, he's just too cool not to like. I actually,
Yes.
for all the characters I personally play that I want back, I actually at first when I was thinking of this question myself, I said, "Can we get Lei back, dude? This game needs more fun." And like not
Yes.
Yoshimitsu fun. Like I want a character that's fun but also bullshit. But then like I thought about it and I'm like, that's the real sad thing about these games right now is we're never gonna see Mokujin again. Because
yeah.
think about that. They would have to put Mokujin out and they would have to update him whenever a DLC character comes out.
Yeah, that's true.
So that he just can't exist. So that just sucks. So like it stinks about that. But I was saying that first of all, Lei Wulong, I almost picked him, but my 2 were Armor King and Miguel. Because first of all, Armor King is one of the most popular characters in Tekken 7. Let's be real. It's as cool as he ever looked. Everybody loved playing him. He didn't really place in tournament a lot, but JDCR was using him. Jimmy Jadran used him for a bit. He's just too cool, dude. Like all these people that bitch about 2 kings, it's like they gave AK's craziest low to King, so what do you got to lose? What's he gonna get? Something? Was he gonna give him a hell sweep? Like what? Like what? It's like they're not gonna do that. So I want to see what they do. I want a gender swapped Master Raven situation where they just make Armor Queen. They just make her like the hottest wrestler you've ever seen in your life. Like literally, just go get Sasha Banks. Just go get Sasha Banks and Asuka from WWE and AEW, have them do a fusion dance, and then put the fucking leopard mask on the chick and call her Armor Queen. It's gonna be the best thing anybody's ever seen. I don't like it would print money. Do they not see how much money wrestling is making in 2025? Yeah. It's crazy to me that they made JC like, okay, JC's gone, we're bringing Julia back. It's like, isn't wrestling crazy popular? Didn't you guys just do but that's beside the point. So I was saying Armor King and Miguel, and I think it pisses me off that there's no Miguel in the game. Because for all of the characters they gave like stance mix, which is, oh, you hit a button, you hold down forward or you hold down, and now you go into your stance mix. For all the characters they made, like that's their main gameplay, they didn't put Miguel in the base game. Like, I play Jack, he's played that way. I play Heihachi, he's played that way. I play anybody, and they're just like, okay, you do this move, and now you have a stance mix. Go for it. And they kept Miguel out of the roster. I'm pissed. You know why I think you know why I want him really badly, and I realized this, and it made me even more mad? They couldn't have Miguel on the roster because they couldn't rationalize Jin being a good guy in a game where Miguel just directly has a, you killed my sister. I'm not listening. Like, in the story of Tekken 8, have you played the story of Tekken 8?
I haven't completed it.
Good. Don't even try. Don't even try. Wasn't even. Okay. I hate the game more because I did so. That's how bad it was. So, in the middle of the game, when Jin is it's basically Austin Powers. Jin comes back. He tries to fight Kazuya. He sucks. He can't get his mojo back. Then he spends the whole game getting his mojo back in the dumbest ways possible. Then he goes and fights his dad, and then whatever. But in the middle of the game, when Jin's trying to get his mojo back, Leo shows up with a valid complaint like, my mom's dead because of you in this war you waged, which is exactly the same complaint that Miguel has, which is, you killed my sister. I held my sister's dead body in my arms. So he has a valid complaint that, you motherfucker, this is personal. Like, this is personal. I'm going to kill you. He says it in the old story. He says, one day I'm going to return to kill you. To Jin, he says this. And Miguel is, I'm pretty sure, consensus, one of the coolest characters in the game. In terms, like, women love him, guys love playing him. He's one of I think in a bunch of things, he's like voted as one of the more popular characters. And it's like, they just don't keep him in the game because he would say, hey, Jin, guess what, asshole? Time to die. I don't care what's going on with your dad. But they just couldn't do that because they're too busy giving Jin a redemption arc of all people.
Yeah.
Who murdered a couple million in one of those wars in Tekken 6, Bloodline Rebellion.
Yeah, a lot of people, yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But the point being is that, like, Miguel, they didn't put him in because it's not as easy. I just hope Season 2 is good because I'm watching Season 2 closely. But the next question to you, and this is the most fun one, so this is question number 9. We're going to take a break after this one. But I think this is one of the more fun questions I came up with that is pretty open-ended, so I'm going to give you time to think about it. And this is for the chat, too. So this question is for you and the chat, anybody who's listening. If you, personally, if you had the keys to Tekken 8, if you were in charge of Tekken 8, as in I snap my fingers and you are the lead director, and you could go back about 6 months and set this up and have all this done, name 3 things you would add or change to improve Tekken for Season 2. So, the question is, if you were given carte blanche to do whatever you want for Tekken, you don't have to listen to the corporation, you don't have to listen to any players. We're going to plop you down in the middle of Tekken Season 1. Clive is about to come out. Everybody's pissed. If you could change anything for Season 2, 3 things. You can add them, or you can change them about the game. I'm going to give you like 1 minute to think about that. I'm just going to take a stretch. I'll be right back, okay?
Well, okay, so I guess I thought I want to do like 2 things that I would add and then 1 thing that I would change. So the 2 things that I would add, the first one would be if they just could find a way to do like team battles, but you could do them with other players, that'd be super sick. I don't know how. I'm just saying, like, if I could do that, that'd be like so awesome. I think we do team battles. Everybody picks a character, and then when you lose a life, you just start the next round. You know, like traditional team battle, but just like maybe even if they can incorporate 10 players, even if they could do maybe 8 players or 6 players, like three team battles, that'd be really sick. You know, I've been a huge fan of team events that I've been kind of organizing myself recently, so that idea stands out to me.
Yes. And let me pause you. Let me pause you right there because I'll go tit for tat with you. One of my answers, the first thing was add some retro game modes: team battle, bowling, Tekken Force, survival. The 3 I think of the most are original Tekken Force, like the Tekken 3 one, when you're like running through and it's just that shitty side scroller one. I would love that. Make it jank, make it stupid, make it fun. Everybody would have a blast. Just make a beat 'em up of Tekken. It can't be that hard. Like, just make stupid. They did it in the story, and then they just, sorry guys, it's gone. But yes, I agree with they need some kind of, and I said this in the thing, I said, give me team battle that can somehow be played in the lobbies or lounge in a fun manner. Because right now, just like you said, all the events that the Tekken players are making, it's usually some kind of team or some kind of thing besides just a tournament. They want to have fun with it. You want to have the camaraderie of it. Even what is in Evo Japan, you know what they're doing? They're taking Virtua Fighter 5 and Third Strike, and they're doing 5-man team tournaments. That's amazing. We need more of that. That's so much more fun.
I totally
like
totally
Co-op
agree.
Cup. Wasn't Co-op, was it Master Cup? What was the Tekken one?
Master Cup.
Master Cup. Like, we need more of that. That should be a thing because like they don't even realize how much the community means to like the game to play in a group like that. It doesn't all have to be just a tournament and now we have Red Bull sponsored players showing up to dick you with Dragonov. It's like, you know. So so I heavily agree on your first point. Go right ahead to the second.
Okay, so then my second thing that I would add is this is just a personal thing, and it kind of ties into what you said about the lounge. Is they have like if you're in the lounge, they have like little arcade machines where they have like air hockey and stuff like that, but you can't really interact with anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they just like you said incorporate the retro game modes there, I was thinking it might be cool to include like, and they would never do this, but if they would allow you to play the older Tekkens in the lounge, even if it was just like Tekken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, I think that'd be like super awesome. Even if it was just like no online, if it was just like arcade mode only, story ending only, that'd be really sick. But just, you know,
that's a brilliant idea. That's just basically steering into the legacy. They need to do way more legacy stuff, and they have this online infrastructure. They could easily do that.
Exactly.
They could if they cared to, but they don't. That's the sad part.
They really don't. And I'll just quickly say my what I would want to be changed is definitely heat. I think I'm just not. This is not a hot take. Heat is just too much right now at all levels of play, and I would like to see that heat just be toned down, whether it be the form of heat burst, not having so much range, or making it easier to step. Like they already kind of worked on, you know, adding defensive mechanics for like heat burst, but I want to see like heat smashes not go across the screen if they whiff. I hate that. I hate being threatened by a heat smash from full screen because it's like I can't stab, but if I like you try to like dash block, especially online, you'll get clipped. It's just super annoying and it slows the game to a crawl. I just tone down the heat.
Okay. So your three main points were the first thing you wanted team battle in some form. You wanted like a real team battle so people could get together as teams, put it in the lounge, do something fun with team battle. I heavily agree on that.
Yes.
Sorry, a bit of a burp there. I shouldn't be drinking double IPAs during a goddamn podcast stream. That's stupid of me. What? Fuck it. Who cares? Anywho, second one was you wanted to see more. Let's make the lounge actually a lounge. Let's make it something I want to log into. I would go beyond. I would add on to that and say that's a big. When I sound really like I'm complaining about these games, it's because when I think of if I was a developer, the things I would do would be to introduce ingenuity to this. When I saw they had the arcade mode, I said, man, how cool would it be if you booted up Tekken and it started with you and your main character like chilling outside of an arcade, like just chilling, like imagine King with his arms crossed, just like with his shoulders back against the wall of an arcade, and then you press the start button and it zooms into like an over the shoulder view like Resident Evil, and now I walk into the arcade and it's me as like King and everybody else is playing a bunch of like old Tekken cabinets, but everybody else in the arcade is other Tekken characters.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Just me explaining that to you, a dev could make that. You could just use all the assets that are already in the game. There's so many cool things they could do with their IP that they just don't do. Nobody's thinking of cool shit like that to do. That's what kills me. Artistically, you could do so many cool things with this long legacy. Like, they own the IP. They own Tekken. They own all of this. This is theirs. And they choose to do it with the Battle Pass instead of like, hey, man, let's make a cool-ass lobby system. Because Arcade Quest and like the arcade lobby is neat, but it could be so much cooler. Like, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It feels like it's made to be, we got to appeal to everybody. We can't just make some cool-ass shit, which was what fighting games used to be about. When you saw Horong doing that goddamn thing in Tekken 3, and you said, what the fuck is that? What is going on? What is this music? And then, because they would show, like, Nina giving, like, King a leg breaker, or King muscle bustering somebody, and then you had Jin doing, like, his electric stance, and then you had him doing uppercuts and shit.
Yeah, that shit was sick.
So you see all that happening. They don't just, it's like the thing they advertise now is the cutscenes. Like, it's Netflix. It kills me, dude. But my point being is you and I are on the same wavelength, because I'm going to go through my three. Or let me turn the music back on, by the way. There we go. My 3 things that I said. So Zen's were he wanted to see an extensive team battle, which I think should definitely come back. There's no way that isn't easy for them to make. They could make some kind of special lobby, some kind of vestibule you could go into, like a team battle. They could do something with that. That can't be that hard. Then Zen also said more legacy stuff in the lounge, which I also agree. They should have old games. There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to say, hey, if you pick up Tekken 8, go over to this computer and you guys can play Tekken 3. Go over here, play this. But they don't want to... That little bit of extra development time, no, sorry, can't do it. It sucks. That's a great one. And then you also said, I think this is what everybody would say about... What's up, Nanchi, by the way? I think Zen said, as most people would, Heat needs drastic reductions.
Yes.
So my 3 points are very close. My first one was my 3 things. I said they were all basically going to be they were all going to be changes. So my first thing was my first one was additions. Was I wanted some retro game modes. My 2 most wanted were team battle and survival. There's no reason not to have survival. It would be great. It would be fantastic if like you had a survival that was all your Tekken buddies ghosts or something. It would be like fight all the last 10 opponents you fought in ranked and like their ghost would show up and then like do something cool with that. There's no reason not to have a good ghost battle or survival. Something single player I can boot up without fighting another human. I just want to fight the robot and mash the button in a fun way, please. And then the second thing was I said team battle. All this Tekken Lounge stuff and there's no team battle mode? Why not? What's stopping you? And then my second thing was, and this was my Heat change, I was trying to come up with a proactive way to make Heat work better, and I think the easiest and quickest way they could drastically improve Heat, make it Leroy Kane style. Once a fight. That's it. Keep it exactly the same. But if you pop it, or you pop it with a Heat engager, that's it.
That's actually a good one, yeah.
I said keep it exactly the same, because it's busted, because the combos people can get, we've optimized it now. People have been playing the game for the year. Everybody has their Heat optimized combo that gets 100 plus damage, right?
Yeah.
You're usually surfing, if you're optimizing those, and you're getting the wall, and you're getting Oki, you're getting usually 80 to 90 damage, and then usually a decent Oki situation. Most characters that are really busted in S tier, they're not only killing you, they're doing all that damage, and then they get you with your back to the wall with guess again, asshole. Like, that's what it is. Like Hwoarang's great at that. He has a couple of ways to get you into some fucked up situations. Him, Lee, Brian. Sure. All the top tiers have a way to put you in a fucked up situation at the wall and murder you. But some do it easier than others. Dragunov is like the easiest of them all by far. It's him and Feng, just insane. But the thing I was building to was just keep Heat exactly the same. Don't like exactly the same, but just once a fight. So once you pop the Heat, it's gone. My Heat engager's no longer a Heat engage. Simple as that. So if I use this, it's over. Like this is the Heat. And then I was saying with that, they would probably need some way to resurface Heat around that. But I was saying the first thing I would do, the easiest thing I would do to make it 10 times better was let Heat keep the impact it has, just less. Just once a fight, please. Because the fights are already quick. There's so much damage already. The stage has got explosions on them. The combos are so long. Just make Heat happen less often. That's all I ask. My second thing was, or my third thing, so that was I was saying drastically reduce damage by primarily making Heat a once-a-fight thing rather than every round. I think Heat really throws the game completely out of whack. So that was my that was the easiest solution I could come up with that I could think of off the top of the dome. My third thing was, and I need this, and we didn't really talk about it, but I probably should have put it in where my criteria was for a good fighting game. They need to drastically change the ranked system. The entire thing needs to be burned down and built up from the basis. My easiest solution, anybody who plays this game, especially the good players, will tell you what a fucking joke ranked is. Like, even before the changes recently, people will one and done you. People will just like plug on you. There's no ramification. Like, they say, oh, we have a document. You can just message whoever the cheaters are with Tekken 8 report on Twitter. Guess what, asshole? Twitter sucks. I don't have a Twitter. Well, I said you go fuck myself, I guess. Just oh wow, I can't believe this guy just one and done me with his auto block Miguel. Like, the only thing you blessedly have is the ability to block. So if somebody's a blatant cheater, you don't have to play with them beyond that one game. So thank Christ that exists.
Yeah.
But it still ruins the experience for people for at least a game or two. So my point was, I say Tekken needs to do a whole new... I'm talking, they have to go off and snort some really good cocaine and drink some really good alcohol and figure something fun out for a ranked ladder. And while they're doing that, just copy Street Fighter 6. Just copy it. Just say, guess what? God of Destruction, now it's just called Tekken Gods, and now we're like cutting the rank at like Tekken Emperor. So now once you hit Tekken Emperor, you get into a new ladder and just make it, just literally carbon copy whatever Street Fighter 6 is doing, because all I saw from the last update was everybody saying this is a really cool thing they're doing with Master and Legend and High Master. I don't know if I don't know if you read the recent patch notes, but they added more versions of Master. So essentially now there's two types of ranked in Street Fighter. There's the base ranked until you get to Master rank, and then now once you get to Master rank, there's a whole new ladder to explore. There's 3 different kinds of Master. Thank you for the follow, whoever just dropped that. But there's like 3 different kinds of Master now. There's Legend. There's just more to explore in the MMR system of the above clouds of ranked. So anybody who plays fighting games right now, that's part of the reason Street Fighter 6 is retaining the players it is because the grind still has some fun to it beyond just a level up grind. Tekken, bro, you know more than anybody. You are somebody who's God rank. You know how much of a joke it is at God rank, right?
For sure, yeah.
Like people who have made it there. Like, tell me, what is your experience with ranked in this game?
Ranked is really. I'm going to my experience. I don't like it because it's first to twos only. That's one of my biggest issues.
Yep. Tekken 7 had infinite. You can infinitely rematch. You can deathmatch in ranked.
Yes, death matches were something. And I know it was kind of a controversial topic, but I kind of settled on the place that at the end of the day, no one is playing a first to two to have fun in Tekken. Like, no one enjoys a first to two more. First to twos are around because for tournaments, you want to get to the fucking tournament quickly.
Especially with how offensive the game is. Just to chime in on some Flava Flav shit, man. Preach, because the game's more offensive, so it makes sense that you wouldn't want it to be the same amount of rounds if it's more explosive and volatile, which it is. Even the Tekken 8 devs would admit they made the game that way, right?
100%. And it doesn't, not only does it not feel good to lose in this manner, it doesn't feel good to win in this manner. I feel
feels
like
cheap. Feels cheap.
It feels cheap, yeah. And
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Going off of Tekken 7, I know there's a lot of players who I became more familiar with in the community because we played longer sets, because we were able to be like, GG's, good games, well played, or whatever. We had that, you kind of bonded with somebody you played them in a deathmatch for 4 hours. I'm not gonna lie, like they became like your rival or whatever it was. But in Tekken 8, I never had that experience because even if I lose a set, it's just like I didn't even care because I'm just right back into another game like mindlessly. It made me feel like I'm scrolling like TikTok almost. Like it's hard to anything to even matter because like, it's all volatile. And it's like, okay, I got hit with a bunch of heat, wall, stage explosion, 50-50s, whatever.
And then you gotta hold that shit. You go right back to training mode, and you're standing there with that Zhao Yu dummy like, fuck you. Like, just, I can't. And then people want it done, and you want to strangle your own self. It's insane.
Yeah, and you're frustrated. And you're frustrated because it's like, first off, you're like, this player wasn't even like that good. It's just a bad experience. That's the best way to play. It's just not a fun experience.
I would say like that's why it's my biggest thing I would change. I would burn it all down. I would straight up like admit to the player base like this isn't fun. Like this isn't enjoyable. Because right now they don't even think it's a problem. Like nobody's talking about this, which sucks because I think because now ranked is like the main thing people do. They have all these like that's what YouTubers do. Like get to the max rank. Like nobody cares until you hit max rank, but it's like getting there is not fun. If it was fun, this game would be so much more entertaining because the majority of gameplay now is online. The majority of gameplay for Tekken 8 is online. The amount of games played online dwarfs offline competition. Dwarfs it. Arcades don't exist anymore. People are home more than ever. People don't want to go out to every local because they're expensive, or they don't want to go out to a major because you got to buy a hotel room and get on a plane.
Yeah,
who the fuck wants to do that? So online matters more. The online infrastructure in Tekken, it is so behind every other fighting game. Except for maybe Strive, which is equally annoying for different reasons. So that's why my third thing was, and then I said, okay, how do we drastically improve this? I would say go stare at Street Fighter 6 and copy whatever the fuck they're doing, because I know they didn't patent their ranked system, because that would be like a worthless thing to patent. So I would say, I'm legitimately, Harada, go to your bar that you like to advertise so much with your interviews with your buddies and you're talking to Virtua Fighter devs. Go sit down with a bunch of fighting game devs like you guys like to powwow, get really drunk, and figure out a way to make a ranked ladder that doesn't suck dick, because I guarantee you they're aware of how much it sucks. They just don't care enough to fix it.
That's fair.
They play the game, or they don't, because it's annoying to rank up, but it needs so much more than it has right now. Like, we're making our own fun, as like me and you both. Like, you're doing I'm playing in this guy's Tekken King rank versus in a couple weeks, and he's playing in different tournaments and he's playing the game. But we're making our own fun with this game. We shouldn't have to do that. Do you think people who play battle royale games have to make their own fun? No,
that's actually a really great point. Yeah,
they boot the game up and they drop the fuck in. That's how it is. I don't want to have to make my own fun. I don't want to have to sit here and go, oh shit, do I play ranked today? Or let me go ask the server if anybody's going to play, because God knows I don't want to play some shithead on Wi-Fi. You probably got it worse than I do because you're on PlayStation. It's probably way worse for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, my most practical solution was they need to chop off, with ranked inflation, they need to chop off the head of ranked. So they basically have to cut things right around Tekken Emperor, because I think there's like a different barrier there when you get to like Tekken God Supreme, and then that's when like the good players show up. Is that top 2%? I think it's right around 2% with inflation now, if I'm correct. I don't know the actual numbers, but it used to be 1%. Like the 1% of players were God of Destruction. No, with Tekken 8 now it's about 2 to 3. Like there's a lot of logjam at the top, but I was saying they should chop the head off of that. The ranks end at Tekken Emperor now. Once you go beyond Emperor, you get into the God ranks. And once you get to God ranks, they would basically turn it into exactly what Street Fighter 6 is doing. There's 3 different kinds of Master, and then there's Legend. And everybody's trying to get Legend, but that is the big grind. That is the 999 points currently with your character. I think that's the easiest way to make it different, because that would separate ranked in a bigger way. And like maybe they could do some kind of update, like, I don't know, monthly thing with that or something like that. But that's the easiest solution I could think of.
That's a good idea. I definitely would. I think it'll just make it more fun, and it also will keep the player base like engaged in the queue more. Because as you know, a lot of times players, they get God, and either they go play a different character, rank them up, or they just drop ranked entirely.
Exactly. An in-game scoreboard would be dope. Yes, Rosan, that's definitely true. But I think there's also beyond that, not just, I was just saying that's the most practical solution right now, because when I think of what I want for Tekken Season 2, I think this game is salvageable, but they got to make the right moves. If they just drag ass and don't care, people already are teetering with the faith. Clive came out, everybody hated Clive. I didn't hear many people saying it was cool at all. People are already pissed about Lydia and Eddie being like Season 1 DLC. Hey, Hachi was hype. I'm not going to pretend he wasn't. But just the trust for the game is not in a good way. The stage debacle, the Season 1 DLC with the battle passes. Who the fuck likes a battle pass? Who is sitting there saying, thank you, Namco, for this battle pass? Thank you, Namco, for these dumbass shoes that nobody's going to buy, these foam paws. It's crazy to me that they got away with that. And people aren't like roasting them more for it.
Yeah.
But the question in mind, thank you for the answer. I heavily agree with all of yours, but I would go beyond. The only thing I would add is the massive changes to the rank system, because it's not fun, and it's the lack of that fun is why everybody is going hallelujah. They let us rematch in quick match. Oh my god, hallelujah. So now quick match is fun, which I like. I like that.
You're not wrong at all. And I was kind of indecisive on my opinion until I did play quick match recently, and with the F3 match, I noticed how much more fun I was having. I was like, wow, this was a lot more fun than anything I played during rank, for sure.
They accidentally made the most fun queue in the game, because they remember how they did that change with prowess, and now you'll match in quick match based on your prowess.
Yeah,
that's a good thing now, because you get to the rank you're supposed to be at, and you dump ranked and go hang out in quick match where it's actually fun.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about them tying. This is why we have these discussions, folks, is because this game isn't as bad as people say. It could be way better, but it's not as bad as people say. You just have to make your own fun, or you have to figure out how to play it correctly. Tekken 8 is 10 times more fun when you play it either offline, or you play in the lounge with the homies, or you go play in quick match after you get to your appropriate ranked. Playing ranked in this game, the thing that everybody wants to do, because that's what most people do, is the worst way to play this game, by far. It's first to 2. It's bullshit. You're going to hate yourself. And you're going to hate your opponent more.
Especially with people's, like you said, Wi-Fi, or people's computers not being able to handle certain stages, being poorly optimized.
The worst is somebody who shows up with a 5-bar, and you're like, hallelujah, fucking 5-bar, let's get it. And then they show up, and it turns out it's like fake. They're using like a copper wire like tied to their fucking dick just to play the game. It's insane. It's insane to me. Like the fluctuate. But I can't blame them. It's whatever. Next question. To move on to something fun. So this is number 10. We're actually going to do a stream Q&A at the end, by the way, if you guys got any questions you want to let rip. And feel free to answer the questions in the chat if you guys are listening as well. This is a fun one. If you could delete one character from Tekken forever, as in will never return in promo material, never return in fan art, never, like, just gets the death note, ceases to exist. Just absolute Thanos snap from Tekken. If you could delete one character from Tekken, who would it be?
Does it have to be a Tekken character? It can't be a guest character?
If they've appeared in a Tekken. You can delete a guest character if you want, yes.
Okay. Well, I said Clive.
I would say non-DLC character, because I'm pretty sure Clive isn't going to show up in any future Tekkens. I don't think that's a worry right there. So I think I agree with what you're saying. But I also think it's a waste of a vote, so let's sidestep that one.
Okay, so main series characters. Let me think then.
Well, let's start with that. Clive is number 1, but he's a extenuating case, so we'll go to the secondary.
Let me think who's in the roster. I really don't like Zafina. I would probably say Zafina.
Okay. I can wholeheartedly agree with that, just because she's a jobber in the story. There's so many people who are just jobbers in the story. And by that, I mean they are literally here to lose to the Mishimas and make them look stronger. That's the whole reason they're in the game. They are here to lose. Just Zafina is one of them. Literally, in her story in 8 is that she has Azazel and he breaks out, and then Kazuya just shows up, kills him, and eats his power. That's the whole. It's as bad as it sounds. It's really fucking bad. And that's why I hate characters like Zafina, because they're all super serious, but it's like you are literally here to get your ass kicked by Kazuya and then stand there like, impossible. You're literally just like a shitty ninja in Naruto who gets like fucking destroyed by Kakashi and then you're just in jail. Like that's you, Zafina. And then people act like, oh, she's so cool, look at Zafina. It's like, yeah, look at her get her ass electricked and then kicked in the fucking ass. Like, just, and then I'm going to watch Shadow play her in bracket. Shoot me now, dude. Shoot me now.
Yeah.
Just,
I don't like her aesthetic.
I hate her.
I hate her gameplay.
That's a double thumbs up pick from me.
Yeah, I've never been a Zafina fan. I'm just like, ugh. Falling on the ground and stuff. Like, she's just not cool at all. And it just, if I had to pick somebody, it would be her. I think the game would be when Zafina made the base roster over Lydia, I was genuinely surprised. I was like, how the fuck is Zafina making a Lydia?
She was there for the shitty story, bro. In the middle of the story, it's literally the whole story is Jin's a bitch that needs to think about his mom to get better and get told by Leroy to believe in yourself. And then at the end of it, it's Kazuya kills Azazel, kills everybody, goes to kill Jin, and then maybe loses. That's the whole plot. It's the dumbest shit. But anyway, I would say Lars.
Lars? Okay, that's fair.
There's enough stupid-ass anime in the world. There's about 80 different Lars in every single gacha game right now. Just some big hair ass bitch doing flips, doing poses. It's a Power Ranger without the mask, so I can't even sit here and think you're a superhero. I got to see that stupid haircut, and you're half Swedish, but I talk Japanese in the cutscenes because that's how much of an Omega weeb I am. I want to stab myself just anytime he comes on the screen. I would rather have Elisa, because Elisa, at the very least, is cool, is funny. I can rationalize funny robot, haha, goofy ass move list because I play Jack. So how dumb and hypocritical would it be of me to say, oh, let's make Jack into a cute girl robot? okay, this is a Japanese company. I can get down with that. But to make a character who's a Mishima, but he's also a weeb, but he's also not even really doing a fighting stance. He's doing Lightning Man spin top craziness.
He's a Beyblade.
Yeah, but then he's also like, just like Zafina, the same exact thing. He's here to be a jobber. He's here to lose. Yeah. He's here to lose and fuck a robot.
Yeah.
That's Lars. Lars is here to lose and go home to robot pussy. That's who that is. And that's what I laugh at, because I would delete him just to see how Japan would handle it, because they wouldn't have somebody they wouldn't have somebody they relate to as hard.
That's funny.
It's crazy to me, bro. Like, it's insane to me. So get rid of Lars. Lars is dead. So chat says Claudio. Yeah, I play Claudio, and I totally understand. Although I would say I think Claudio is severely underrated, because I got to make a video about Claudio, but he is essentially a SNK character masquerading as a JoJo character in a 3D fighting game. So he is super unique if you really look at him. But he's I think he's underappreciated, but also at the same time in Tekken 8, the second game he's been in, he's dumber than ever to fight. Oh my god. Just running 2 and down back 1+2, bro. If you can't win a couple rounds doing that, you suck dick.
Yeah.
It's so bad. He's just a byproduct of Heat being bullshit, man. Because he thrives in it because he just gets more of his bullshit install. So
I kind of like Claudio, just because I thought him being an exorcist was cool, just because the devil has been such a prominent character in the story up to this point. So I thought having an exorcist character as a counterbalance just kind of made sense. So that's why I was more okay with Claudio.
Yeah, but if you look at him, he's obviously designed to be JoJo's style with all the posing and whatnot.
Sure.
But then at the same time, he's like basically a Quincy from Bleach. So he's just one of those characters where they just said, fuck it, throw a bunch of random shit that's around together. And I just wish they used cooler stuff than like religious JoJo. I almost wish they made him like a sassy chick, or like a I don't know, like it would be funny. Imagine if Claudio was like Chris Tucker in Fifth Element. You ever seen Fifth Element?
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that movie. Yeah,
you know when he's like the pop star and he's got the hair and he's like jumping around, he's saying "What's up?" Like he's going nuts. Imagine if Claudio had the exact same move list, but he talked like that. Wouldn't that be the coolest shit ever?
It'd be interesting.
Like if he was like Zack from fucking DOA, like just wilding out. Like I would love that, but no, he's like Mr. Religious. I would love that. Make him like Drebin from fucking Metal Gear Solid 4. He's got a monkey with him and stuff. I don't know. Let's do something funny. Actually, that would be great. Put Drebin in the game. He's got the monkey. Lily's got the cat. We're in there. Leroy's got the dog. We're good.
It balances itself out.
Absolutely. So that's fun. So your answer would be straight up Clive, but if not Clive, Zafina can get gone.
Yes.
Zafina's a good pick, I would say so. Because her whole gimmick is being annoying. Is being like, I have a mini AOP and I have stance mix and my frames are crazy, so you just have to guess right.
Yeah, it's really annoying. She's like so.
Yeah.
She's just.
Yeah, I can. Okay, well that's a completely understandable pick. I can understand that one completely. All right, we're getting to the end of things here. We're about an hour and a half in. This is pretty good timing. Now this is the most. This is before the Q&A, which we're gonna have right after this. If you guys got any questions you want to throw up, you can throw them up now. And this goes for the chat as well. If you could have one guest character from any video game or film in Tekken 8 right now, as in today, like dropped into the game right now, as in they're out immediately. If you could have any one guest character from any video game or film, who would it be? And I'll give you time to think about it, and I'll give you my answer.
Oh, that is a tough one. Any guest character.
My answer is very simple, and people are going to laugh, but it would probably be great.
You said from film or just anything?
I said from you can do from an album if you want. I don't care. So a movie or a game, basically any guest character from any movie or game. And mine was, you can think about yours. Mine, I'm not a. Excuse me, sorry. Mine, I'm not ashamed to admit, Batman. Either Robert Pattinson in the latest Batman or Christian Bale's Batman. Batman. Straight out of Injustice. Give him all the batarangs. I don't give a shit. He's mostly going to be doing karate straight out of Arkham Asylum. If the voice actor, I forget his name, but the voice actor who just passed away, who did Batman in the animated series, can you imagine Batman in Tekken? Because I sure can. I sure can. Brutal, in your face, shows up in the Batmobile just like Lydia with her car.
Yeah.
Would be fucking perfect. Perfect. The cape, everything. Everything. Go play any Arkham Asylum game and go tell me he wouldn't work in Tekken. He'd be amazing in Tekken. And guess what? He's just a dude. What does Victor do? He's just a rich guy with a gun, a knife, and a sword.
Yeah.
What does Batman do? He's just a rich guy with karate. And he's going to be beating the shit out of you with his detective kung fu. So I think Batman would be the ultimate guest character. I wanted Harada to go get Ed Boon and say, sit me down with the dude from WB. Put Batman in Tekken. You saw how much money we made with Negan. You saw how much money we make with these Final Fantasy characters. Aren't you guys trying to license your characters and save your sinking ship-ass game? Give me Batman in Tekken 8 Season 2, Harada. And that's all I got to say about that.
Thinking of Batman in games, I always naturally will think about, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. And,
exactly. But think about the movie. They're gritty. It's a big city. He's literally a detective. Just have him investigating the Mishimas. Just have him... it would fit so perfectly. Can you imagine? Just put Gotham. Put Gotham in Tekken 8. Make a big-ass Gotham alleyway. You have any idea how much people would lose their fucking mind? Everybody would lose their shit. That would be the most... They would say, oh my god, they put Injustice doesn't exist anymore. They put Batman in a fighting game. Multiverse just died. Put Batman in Tekken 8. Everybody wins. WB wins. The players win, because who the fuck is going to hate Batman, dude? Who the fuck is going to be the stupid motherfucker who says, oh, you know what? Actually, Batman sucks. Nobody. No, you know all those bitches on Twitter that get on and they're like, well, this is such a poor pick because with Clive, like everybody's saying, can you imagine doing Clive on Tifa? Who the fuck is going to say no to Batman?
Everybody likes Batman.
Everybody likes Batman. Everybody likes Batman. So it's like, I sat there and I thought about it and I said, he's the best guest character by a mile. Who's better than him?
As far as the guest character goes, I'm not sure.
Everybody would win, including the company that owns the IP.
Yeah. I mean, it'd definitely be popular for sure. It would definitely get people's attention.
I think, well, you're saying the license issue. I think WB is desperate, dude. Have you not been following the news? They're losing money left, right, and front and center. Tons of it. They just nuked multiverses. It's dead. They got movies that have just died. It's not good. It's really bad. Well, we're going to hear Zen's answer. Give me any wrestler. That was my second answer. My first answer was actually, and I said this for a while, my first answer was Kenny Omega. I was saying go get a wrestler who's currently under contract with any company. Just get a tie-in and just make them for that game. So I was saying either Will Ospreay, MJF, or Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is my favorite wrestler working, but Will Ospreay is probably the best wrestler on the planet right now. Or better yet, go get a female. I was saying Sasha Banks or who's that girl? Giulia. She was the Stardom champion, and then she became the best. She went to WWE NXT right now. I was saying either get a really kick-ass female wrestler or just get Kenny Omega and just put him in with the whole move list. Have him do mocap. Fuck it. But Zen, the floor is yours for whatever character you might have in mind.
Well, this is something I've just been thinking since Tekken 8 kind of came out. And I guess because we've kind of been in a fighting game revitalization or renaissance again with a lot of fight. Like Sam Show just got a game not too long ago. Soul Calibur 6 a couple years back. Street Fighter 6, obviously Tekken 8. Making me think about older fighting games. And one that I also liked a lot growing up was Bloody Roar. So I would like to see a Bloody Roar character. And I think with Heat, the way Kazuya turned like devil mode in his Heat, or they have Clive go to like the little Ifrit mode or whatever. They can do the same thing when they go heat. They become their
Yeah.
their little beast forms, and
It's
I think
literally
that'd be really cool.
it's literally a transformation. So devil, it's literally it's Kazuya. That's exactly what he does. Is if you think about it, he's basically a furry. He gets a tail and shit.
So somebody from Bloody Roar, maybe like the main, like with the protagonist from like the games, like Yugo, the wolf guy, or maybe the main villain, like Shion. He was like an alien or some shit. That was tight. So maybe somebody from Bloody Roar.
Okay, so you just say somebody from Bloody Roar. That actually makes a lot of business sense because Konami is aggressively trying to revive all of their series. So the best way for them to break back into seeing if people would be interested in Bloody Roar would be to give a Bloody Roar character to Tekken. That would be actually brilliant business if any Namco developers are obviously listening. I'm sure Murray's in the chat right next to Rosan. But that's actually I don't think you realize how much brilliant business sense that would make is because Konami would be the perfect business partner right now because like I said, they're aggressively trying to because they just put out Silent Hill. They have a bunch of their old games coming back. They would totally I think they might try to bring back Bloody Roar because a lot of people beg for that, and they're probably watching Virtua Fighter like, hey, maybe we should make a fighting game too.
Exactly, especially with, like I said, all the fighting games coming back. You got the new Virtua Fighter 6 coming out. I'm like, man, Bloody Roar was my jam back in the day. That game was awesome.
Well, because you got multiple fighting games. Fatal Frame, not Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame. Final Fight is about to come out with the new one. Virtua Fighter 6 is obviously coming. Everybody's losing their mind. Street Fighter 6 is going strong, and it's probably not going to stop anytime soon. Japan loves that shit. And so it's a lot of that. But yeah, so my guest character would be Batman, and Zen's would be anybody from Bloody Roar. And for the record, if you go back and play Bloody Roar, I'm pretty sure the second one is the one you want to play. But Zen, you have you not played that?
Bloody Roar 2?
Yeah.
No, I've only played Bloody Roar 3 and 4.
You do understand that, like, one of the characters in the game is basically Horong, but she's like a leopard chick, right? Sheena.
Yes,
Sheena.
The leopard chick, yes.
She's basically Horong. She has, like, the same move list and everything.
The character I played the most in Bloody Roar was definitely Bakuyu, the fucking mole ninja
the mole guy, yeah, the crazy guy who's like an anime antagonist.
Yeah, he was sick. Bakuyu.
Yeah, no, he's a troll. I can completely understand you playing him. Never mind, you can take the Taekwondo troll, whatever. All right. Hey, chat, you got any questions you want to ask? We're just here to do that in case you felt like it. Otherwise, interview's all done. That was an hour and a half, so perfect timing.
Yeah.
So, shout-outs to the chat. Do you guys got any questions, or are we going to let Zen get away from here? And thanks again for joining us, and I appreciate the candid conversation. That was really fun. And I'm glad that... I think after playing the game as much as I have, even though I haven't dumped the hours I would like to into it, I do like the fact that there is still a lot of fun to be had. You just have to be... You constantly... It sucks so hard when you gotta hold like an 85 plus damage combo in your chest, and you can see the person doing it, and you're like, this combo is so fucking easy. Why is it so easy just to do this much of my health in one fucking combo? It kills your spirit.
You know, I mean, it's what I'm thinking of. One of the questions we gave like ratings for the game, and I said like a 4. I feel like I gave it that score because I haven't played ranked as much because my primary the bulk of the time I spent on Tekken 8 has been playing with friends or doing events with the community or whatever. Yeah. So I've enjoyed it a lot more, and I've been able to kind of like I don't deal with the battle pass. I don't even know what's in the battle pass. Like I don't do a lot of that stuff, so it's just mainly just me either looking at the game myself in practice mode, which is always kind of fun, watching competitive play, or just playing with the homies. And I think that has kind of elevated the game in my mind a little bit. But I distinctly know if I did play more just like randoms, or I did play more ranked and stuff like that, I would definitely probably rate the game lower.
I should probably rate the game higher because I'm such a goddamn fashion queen over here with all the customizations I make, and like I should be being like, this is the best, I can make customs like this. But yeah, like just the game sits firmly mid for me because I can't forgive the lack of modes, dude. Like you're paying, we paid $100 and they wanted $5 for the Heihachi stage. You have any idea how much of like that's like Harada just taking his dick out and just slapping it on your receipt like, pay the extra $5, asshole. What, you not gonna pay the extra $5? You're not gonna get the coolest looking stage in the game with the leaves and the night and day cycle and the cool torches, huh? It's like, dude, Go fuck yourself, man. Like, people got problems. It's crazy. But
I haven't bought the stage. I honestly
I
don't
bought it.
care for the stage
I
because
bought
it's so tiny. It's so small.
I bought it. I like
You
it.
bought it?
It's nice. I'm not gonna front, man. I'm a whore. I'm doing it. But that's the thing about. But when you really think about it, like if you really get into it, that's the thing though. Is I've been addicted to League of Legends. League of Legends that got thousands of dollars out of me for Tekken to get an extra 5 or 10. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. It's just they're not. It's actually the lesser of two evils because as bad as Tekken is, it's not nearly as bad as like Multiverses just died because it was that bad. It was way worse. And then you got games like I played League and then I went to play Dota. And then Dota and Counter-Strike are like, these are legitimately scary gambling addictions.
Mm-hmm. Even like the monetization like in DOA, I know it went free to play for a little bit, but like DOA had like crazy. It was so much like hundreds
thousands.
Of dollars. Like
it would cost you.
Crazy.
I think it would cost you $40,000 to buy every costume in the game with DOA.
It was ridiculous. It was like an absurd amount.
But that killed the game, though, because as soon as players see that, they go, okay, that's what they're going for. We're okay. We're not, yeah. Nobody's going to play a game that does that as aggressively as they did it. But this is another point, just before we get done with the actual stream, this is an observation I've made about fighting games, and I'm asking you and anybody in the chat if you can corroborate this, but I feel like the slow way in which the Japanese, mainly Tekken and Street Fighter, the Japanese developers, the slow way in which they get around to trends is actually so slow that it's a good thing, because now certain trends are crashing. Like we're seeing PlayStation crashing with their live service games that just failed. So now Tekken's using like an old Battle Pass system, and they're going to see in real time games like Apex Legends and all these games with these battle passes. Everybody's shit talking the battle passes. Yeah. So, and everybody hates. I guarantee they have the numbers like that in Tekken 8 right now. Don't you see like the sale ones when they just sell some of the costumes for half off in like bundles? So there's no. They wouldn't do that if they were making money on those. Like they would not do that if they were selling. So that leads me to believe that they're paying attention, but they're so slow to adopt this stuff that it's like we're in this weird pocket bubble of our games are so old school that they haven't yet been swayed by modern bullshit. Does that make sense?
No, definitely. I definitely what you're saying, and it's actually I never thought about it until you just brought it up, but that is a good point because it could always be worse. They could jump on the trends of modern day gaming a lot faster, and then we could have a worse situation in Tekken, coming on.
Multiverse is the main example I have. Literally, Multiverse went through beta phase, came back, and died in the entire life cycle of Tekken 8's first season. Because it was so poorly monetized and developed. So it's like, unless the Namco devs are actually really, really not paying attention and do not give a shit, they're seeing the market go crazy with fluctuations in front of them, and they can just kind of coast, because Virtua Fighter 6 is probably a year away at the least, and they don't have any competition in the 3D gaming market for fighting games. So it's like, my point being about this is that it's so slow to develop, and that slowness and that, this game hasn't evolved in like 2 generations now, that's like a good thing, because we haven't eaten that shit sandwich so many other competitive games have. With like, I just look at games like Dota that just enslave you. That just the monetization, trade and skins, it's wild. Yeah. But anyway, that was a great interview. Thank you for stopping by. I want to thank anybody for coming by in the chat. And we'll catch you next time, man. You have a great evening.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful.